Okay, everyone, look at these amazing pineapples here. We're in December in Vanuatu, and it's definitely pineapple season. Everyone give us a big pineapple smile with a thumbs up. Awesome. Hey, so look at these amazing pineapples. We're in the tropics in Vanuatu, and these pineapples are coming out of our ears in December. We're not really complaining, we're eating them every day. Look at these couple of different varieties. We have this lovely large long one, and this just gives so much beautiful pineapple flesh. Then there's also this really cute little potbelly one, which is a bit shorter and stumpier. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And you can see they have quite different pattern there on the skin. Can you see that? And this little one didn't get very big, but it's overripe, and that is just fully golden. Isn't that a beautiful color? Now, I don't know if we're going to get tipsy eating this, but let me cut off the bottom, just show you, oh, how amazing that is. Beauty. So this pineapple turned out perfect. It's just the right ripeness. That was sort of like half yellow, half green still. But this other one over here, that was completely yellow, that looked like it would have been perfectly ripe in Australia. That one was overly ripe. You can see how that's sort of like, yeah, translucent, and it's very overly ripe. Could get a little bit tipsy on that one. Maybe not so much, but Jana's going to cook that overly ripe one, and this one here we're going to eat for breakfast. Yum. Ah, beauty. Perfect. So I've got my citrus grove here that's starting to come up. Some of them did well, like this lemon and that little mandarin there, but in the between we're growing a bunch of pineapple down the bottom here, and these pineapple are coming into season now. It's December here in the tropics, and yeah, Christmas time is pretty much pineapple time. They're all starting to ripen at the same time. I was hoping that they would ripen in a staggered fashion. That's not really happening. Some of them are smaller and younger, and they will hopefully get ripe at another time of year, but they tend to ripen in clumps. There's a bit of a strange fanned one that grew really weird and wacky because it was growing a bit wild. It's not actually supposed to grow like this in clumps. It's supposed to grow in nice neat rows and be planted in such a fashion, pretty much like this, that you've got a plant there and a plant there, and they grow up to be a nice big plant that produces one pineapple. But I let it grow wild in clumps because we weren't here for 6 months, and they're all starting to grow now in that fashion. I'm going to come around and show you which ones we're harvesting because they're getting nice and yellow. So I'll get Hosanna behind the camera, and then we'll show how to plant one. Okay, so I've just pulled off one smaller medium-sized one. I'm going to harvest 3 here. As they start to ripen, you can see they're getting nice and yellow. Here in the tropics, normally you harvest pineapples when they just have a little bit of yellow on them. If they're only sort of a third yellow or half yellow. If it's completely fully yellow, then it's probably already gone a bit overripe. So here in the tropics, things tend to be ripe when they have a little blush of color, not when they're just got full color. Then it's usually too late and it's overripe. Let's get one of these 3 here. This grew a little bit wild and came down on the ground, so I'm going to pull this off by basically twisting it, and it breaks off that main stem that it's growing on. They grow out of the middle like a flower. That's another mid-sized one. Perfect ripeness, as it's just starting to blush and half yellow there. I've got a couple of other large ones. Let's twist those out. Twist or jerk them out. That's got a little bit of aphids there on the bottom, so I'll have to wash that off. But it should still be nice and clean inside. Sometimes bugs get into them and start eating them when they're ripe, or rats and other animals. So that's nice ripeness. That's number 3 there. We'll harvest this last biggest one which looks like it's a really good size. What a beauty. Oh, just lovely. That's really ripe. That needs to be eaten now and the next day because it's fully ripe, almost completely yellow. And these plants are different to commercial plants. They're the wild variety. They're quite large plants with really big leaves. The commercial varieties of pineapples have got quite small plants with leaves that are only, probably a third that size, but still produce decent sized fruits. But these beautiful big tropical pineapples, obviously it's hard to find that in a supermarket in the Western world. Just a beautiful specimen like that. It does take quite a while to grow. It grows over the best part of a year, 9 months to a year. And so usually you're putting it in sort of as you harvest it, taking some suckers from the side, replanting them, and then they're going to be ripe next summer again. It's a fruit that likes to grow during the summer, start to grow up, and then mature into the end of the year and give nice solid fruit going into summer again. We're early summer here, we're December, so this is going to be a wonderful Christmas holidays time feast of pineapples. So how do we replant the pineapples? That's our beautiful 4 pineapples there. What you want to do to plant them again is to find a little sucker that's growing off the side of the main plant, just like aloe veras also have little suckers or little side shoots. And you want to grab one of these side shoots and make sure that you twist it off delicately from the side there. Make sure that there's still some roots on there, and you can plant that into the ground, and that's going to grow quickly, become a new plant. Of course, you can also take these tops off, and you can peel the bottom of the leaves off so that there's an inch there clear, and you can plant that in the ground as well, but that is not going to grow as quickly as a sucker will. If you're planting as a gardener or as a farmer, you're going to want those suckers that have got the roots on them already, and pop them in the ground, and then you're going to grow really quickly. So let's do that here. What we want to do is get rid of this old plant. This old plant is just wild. It's not going to produce any more properly. It could grow along the ground and produce some, but not properly and not in the right way. So what we want to do is dig out that old stump, get rid of that, and then what we're going to do is chop that up with a knife into small pieces and let that rot and become food for the next generation. But in this line, I'm now going to plant another couple of suckers. This is a good line because it catches the sun between the trees as they're starting to grow. It's good to loosen up the ground a little bit, make it nice and soft so that the new roots can get down into the ground there. And then we're going to pop that big fella. Oh, there's a nice worm for us. Pop this big sucker in there, cover up the roots, and firm it down. And that's going to grow lovely to be the next generation. This is a smaller sucker, and take a couple of these smaller leaves off. Oops, pulled the roots completely off with that. Doesn't matter, it was a small sucker. Let's get another one, decent sized one, and we'll plant that in as well. This one here. Just gently pulling it from side to side. If you've got a lot of large plants, you're not usually short on suckers. Obviously I need to be more careful with those roots and not peel that off and peel the roots off. That's quite large, but it's a good sucker, so let's plant it in. I'm planting these about 2 foot apart, so somewhere between 50 centimeters to even a meter apart because they're such large plants. But I think, yeah, 50, 60, 70 centimeters apart, as long as they've got enough space. They've got quite large leaves once they fill out. Pop that one back in there, and that's going to give us some wonderful ripe pineapples going to next year. You want to hold some of these, Joshua? What a beauty. So if you live in the tropics, you can't beat growing your own pineapples. It is a year in the making, but it's a wonderful reward when it happens.